I love you, bitch. Oh my God. I ain't gonna never stop loving you, bitch.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate you. So today's video is gonna be a doozy, and it's one that I have been wanting to make for a very long time. I just did not sit down and write my thoughts out until now. Hey Polly. Polly's right here. Say hi, Polly. Polly, look at this cute little floofy Berber. Oh, look at that kitty. Hi. Anyways, today we are talking about The Biggest Loser. And I know this might be kind of like random because it's not in the news or anything, but it's just something that I've thought about a lot, and I want to talk about The Biggest Loser and how it affected basically an entire generation's view of health and wellness and weight loss. Before we get into it, I'm trying to make a point of like getting better at saying this, but if you are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. If you like the video, please like the video. That helps me a lot as well. Leave comments, do what you need to do, interact with me. I try and interact back the best I can. And yeah, I'm just trying to get people to be more like involved, and I really want to hit 20,000 subscribers at some point, and that would be really cool. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, just click the button. It's free. Thank you. So if you are in the YouTube commentary sphere like I am, you will have probably seen that Queen Jordan Theresa has already done a two-parter on The Biggest Loser. I promise you, I'm not copying her. The script was in the works like while she posted those, and I haven't watched them because I didn't want to like accidentally repeat anything she said. But she's great. I will leave her videos down below too. If you don't know what The Biggest Loser is, it's a reality TV show that started in 2004 where obese adults would enter into a competition, and they were split into two teams, and they would compete week after week to see which team cumulatively lost the most weight each week. Each team had its own coach, and the two infamous coaches that came from The Biggest Loser, in my opinion, are Bob Harper and Jillian Michaels. I was a kid in the early 2000s, and The Biggest Loser was one of my earliest introductions to the idea of weight loss and getting healthier and whatever, because I'd like talk about it with doctors and stuff and all that, but like that was my first introduction to seeing it done on TV. I feel like it's kind of like the pinnacle of early 2000s like diet culture, The Biggest Loser was, and I feel like a lot of the things that like they did on that show were almost taken as gospel and like what you should be doing to lose weight. Like I think they even came out with like a Biggest Loser Wii game, and like Biggest Loser was on like everything. I think they put it on like cereals and stuff. I might be making that up, but like I remember The Biggest Loser was everywhere. It was not just a TV show. It was like a pop culture like phenomenon kind of thing. The last season of the original run was in 2016, but they actually came back last year in 2020 saying that they had learned from their problematic behaviors in the past and were going to make better efforts this time, which is still very debatable. So growing up, like I had this idea in my head of like what The Biggest Loser kind of showed weight loss being, and when I actually lost weight, granted, I did have weight loss surgery, but when I actually started to lose weight, and now that I'm working to keep it off, I realized that it's pretty much the exact opposite of what they taught on The Biggest Loser, and that's where my issue lies. I feel like a lot, and this is still kind of a thing, but I feel like a lot of early 2000s, like health, wellness, diet stuff really made weight loss seem like this big unattainable goal that like is just you're gonna be miserable the whole time, and it's gonna be terrible, and like it's so hard, which like it is, but like it's so complicated to do, and like all this, and it's just not. And I feel like The Biggest Loser was one of the earliest perpetrators of making it seem like this big like far off goal of something that like only few get to do, you know? And I don't know if I was the only one thinking that, but I definitely saw weight loss as like this huge unattainable goal for a really, really, really long time. Obviously, I will never ever blame anything but myself for getting me to 315 pounds, but I do think growing up with things in media and social media that made it seem like that big unattainable goal, just kind of, it got in my head, and like it made me not want to even start, because it seemed like this whole, like this big, made it seem like this hard thing that like I said, that only few could like attain, which is just not true. So my first issue with The Biggest Loser lies in Jillian Michaels. It lies in Jillian Michaels. Honestly, I could probably do a whole video on Jillian Michaels, because like I did her like workout DVDs when I was younger, and like I thought she was just like the goddess of all like fitness coaches and weight loss people, but now I've grown to really not like her, so I feel like I could really do a good video on Jillian Michaels. So let me know down below if you want that video, because that would be fun. She's arguably like the most notable personality from The Biggest Loser. Oftentimes she would be seen like screaming, degrading, belittling her team members. And it also came out in one season that she had given her team caffeine supplements to aid in weight loss. So there's that. And here's just some examples of like how she would treat her team members who are just trying their best to lose weight on national television.
Bored with the pathetic story. It bores me. Get on the ladder. Are you ready to work? Start running. 7. No, Greg. Greg. No. You gonna throw up? No. Throw up in front of me.
I was dizzy, nauseous.
Let me see it. If you do not throw up right now, we're gonna have problems. Strong! And strong! No ow. No ow. I don't want to hear ow. Ow. Go. And every time you want to quit, you think about your father who's about to drop dead on the treadmill. Go! Oh, they will fly you all the way out here to have you bitch about your arms. You understand me? Go!
In addition to the verbal abuse that Biggest Loser contestants faced, they were also put on an extremely low calorie diet, which was obviously super unsustainable, and also they were put on like an excessive exercise routine. Contestants have come out and said that they were eating less than 1,000 calories a day and participating in 4 to 6 hours of physical activity every single day, which is just bonkers. I don't even know how they had the energy just to like show up to everything. They were probably running on adrenaline or something, but like a contestant from season 3 named Kai Hibbard, sorry, says that on her first day, she weighed in at over 300 pounds, which I can empathize with. I used to be 315 pounds. She was expected to complete rowing, body weight work, kettlebells, cool down on a treadmill. Cool downs are great. I support the cool down. Interval training, Stairmaster, and outside work with tires. So like flipping tires and shit. That's... I had trouble just like walking on a treadmill at 300 pounds. I can't even imagine being just thrown into like doing this. And yeah, so that's just like a look at their exercise routines. But there was also a thing that I remember called the temptation room, where they would have contestants go into a room and it would be filled with all of their favorite junk foods, and they would have to resist the temptation to eat it. I distinctly remember this. And after learning about the diets that they were on and the amount of food that they were not eating, I just like, I don't know about you, but like I've had weight loss surgery, so I eat less than the average bear. But like, I don't know about you, but I would tear up that temptation room if I was in the environment that these poor people were in. It's just such like, it's so like emotionally, like mentally abusive to these people, because I say all the time, in my experience anyway, that weight loss is like 90% psychological and 10% everything else. And so just the like psychological like torture basically that they put these contestants through is just absolutely absurd. The winner of the first season, his name is Ryan Benson. He's since come out and said that he had fasted and dehydrated his body so much in the competition that he was peeing blood, which is a sign of kidney damage. And in 2009, because of the harsh conditions, 2 contestants were airlifted or were hospitalized, and one of them had to be airlifted. And I remember seeing this in like magazines and stuff, but there was one winner, and she was the winner of season 14, and her name was Rachel Fredrickson. She lost, what'd she lose? She lost 155 pounds in the months that she was on this competition. And this was like the first contestant, I think, to like stir up questions, being like, hey, is this healthy? Should we look into this? Because she dropped so much weight so quickly, and the before and after is just staggering. She was, at the end, she got to 105 pounds, and she's a 5'4" female, and I did some research, and the normal, like, healthy weight range for a woman of that height is 110 to 144 pounds. So at the very most, she was 5 pounds underweight after this competition. She came out later saying that she was working out like 4 times a day, and she gained like 20 pounds back after the competition, which, like, good. She needed to do that. But yeah, I remember seeing her on like People magazine and stuff, and I remember people finally starting to question, like, hey, is this show that's been around for like a decade actually a good thing after all? In 2016, Harvard conducted a study on the contestants from season 8 to see how their metabolism and just their bodies had been affected by being on the show. And they found that their thyroid levels had dropped significantly, which, if you know anything about weight loss, your thyroid levels are really, really important to your weight. They tie into your weight a lot. And so because of this, they could tell that the contestants' metabolisms had been like permanently damaged from being on this show. The study also uncovered that leptin levels, so the hormone that like says you're hungry or says you're full, those plummeted as well. And so, like, obviously if your body's not recognizing that it's full, you're just going to keep eating. So that's like some actual scientific proof saying that to just further prove that like this show was just not healthy at all. You guys, if you've been on my channel before, you know that I do commentary on like the health and wellness sphere. And how fucked up I think some of it is. That's why I wanted to make this video, because in my mind, like, The Biggest Loser is kind of like the OG health and wellness, like, social media, like, or just media in general. Like, when I think of health and wellness in the media, I think of The Biggest Loser. And so I kind of wanted to have like a retrospective, or I wanted to reflect on how I think it affected me as a kid, and how it affected my view of weight loss as I was growing up. When I would talk about weight loss, like growing up with people, oftentimes the person I was talking to would bring up The Biggest Loser. And now that I know what weight loss and a lifestyle change and doing it in a more sustainable way looks like, I really do think that watching The Biggest Loser growing up really did kind of, it didn't harm me, that's dramatic, but like it didn't help me want to lose weight, because I didn't want to lose weight until I was 21 years old, and my weight had been an issue my entire life. And I'll never forget, like, when I started losing weight, like, I would just think of like The Biggest Loser, and like I would just get intimidated. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but like, because it is, but like that was the only view that like we as a generation had into weight loss at the time. And while I talk about like how fucked up health and wellness and weight loss social media can be, I am happy that it is becoming more of a social media thing instead of like a mainstream media thing, because I feel like there is more representation and there are more real stories on social media, as weird as that is for me to say, because social media is a lie as well. But I just feel like there's more representation and there's more people who are being like, hey, it doesn't have to be this big ordeal, like just make small sustainable changes and you'll be fine. Like you don't need like a person screaming at you about how fat and lazy you are. Like you just have to show up for yourself, basically. Like you don't need the abuse, and you're not going to be miserable all the time. So that's why I'm really happy that social media is becoming a thing, or has become a thing in like recent years, because I do think it makes weight loss more accessible to more people and it makes it seem less intimidating. And I can't help but wonder if like bullshit like this hadn't existed, if I would have decided to lose weight sooner. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I consumed a lot of media when I was growing up, and so I have no doubt in my mind that this like subconsciously affected me somehow. The reality of losing weight does not include deprivation. It does not include verbal abuse. It does not include being shamed for how lazy you are all the time and like being pushed towards or past your limits to the point of injury. Weight loss does not involve that. And that's what The Biggest Loser really showed growing up, or really showed when it was on air. And that's just not cool at all. And I think it did come back last year, but like I think if they were doing that shit now, it would not fly. It would 100% not fly at all. Anyways, that's just my thoughts and opinions on how I feel like The Biggest Loser kind of affected our generation's view on weight loss and made it seem really unattainable and hard, which it is. It's not easy. But it's not what The Biggest Loser made it out to be, that's for damn sure. And so I know this was random and rambly, but I've just been thinking about it for a while because I was like, wow, The Biggest Loser kind of really started it, didn't it? It really kind of did. And so I just wanted to make a video on it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like the video, leave a comment if you feel so inclined. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Be kind to yourself, drink your water, take your meds, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.